This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic.
Hey, welcome back. I am so happy you're here. Thank you for joining me on another podcast. Today, we're talking about something that most people run from, and that is discomfort. And I'm not talking about the kind of discomfort that shows up in a cold plunge or when your phone dies in public, although that's part of it. I'm talking about the discomfort that occurs when you're growing, when you're healing, when you're becoming something you haven't been before. It's often awkward. It feels very messy. It feels uncomfortable. You're unsure. That is part of the process. That is the time when most people quit. If you notice, people don't typically want to change until they get really uncomfortable. Tony Robbins says all change starts with a decision, but decisions are born in discomfort. Oftentimes, pain becomes that leverage point. When you get on the spiritual path, it's uncomfortable because before you can start to accelerate, you have to get a new identity. How do you get a new identity? First, you've got to cleanse out all those things that aren't serving you anymore, that you don't want to take with you. And when you start doing that, we get what we call the healing crisis, cleansing reactions. It's detoxing. When we start healing our body, our aura, everything begins to purge. And it usually feels worse before it starts to feel better. But it doesn't mean that something's wrong. It's just part of the process. That's the work. The work is working through the resistance, doing the cleansing work, building those new neural pathways, and it is work. This is where emotional regulation tools come in. Breath work, movement, prayer, even journaling. They don't ease the discomfort, but they help you stay steady through it. When you first start meditating, when you finally sit in silence, oftentimes that's when you realize how noisy your mind is. But if you just call someone or frustrate it with chaos or turn on the TV and you never sit with it, you can never truly clean house. So the way to do it is through micro exposure. Start small and start making a commitment to making those changes. Going to healing classes can be very uncomfortable. You're learning a new skill. A lot of times people use this healing path as an escape. It is not an escape. You have to still do the work. I know I talk so much about breath work. Breath work is not easy. It's work. It's called breath work. I've introduced people to it over the years and they'll say, oh, I didn't stick with it, or oh, it didn't really resonate. How did you really try it? Did you do it for 1 minute and then quit? Or did you actually commit to it? Now, there are different types of breath work. There's a transformational breath work. Pause breath work mostly consists of transformational breath work. So it's faster emotional breathing to push out emotional debris quickly. And then there's restorative breath work, which is slower, longer sessions to regulate your nervous system, to calm yourself, to clear. Both of them work. One is a little gentler and it's for a different purpose. But no matter which breath work you choose, it isn't easy at first. Every single breath work I have ever done, I do not feel like doing it. And when I first start, especially in the first few minutes of doing it, my mind is telling me this is hard, this sucks, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be here, I'm sleepy, my hand cramps, my foot is itching, my leg hurts. All of that happens. And I've been doing it over 13 years. I keep doing it because I know on the other side is that relief and it is that reward that I want. I don't always feel like going to work. That doesn't mean I quit my job. I know some people do. And how's that working? Probably not very good. Sometimes I wake up, I don't feel like brushing my teeth. I'm still going to brush my teeth. I'm an adult. Sometimes you have to do it. I don't feel like eating all my protein. I get sick of eating protein. I'm on a high protein diet and I eat it anyway. You really don't even know how much you can accomplish because you don't give yourself the opportunity to do it. The same is true for the gym. I considered making a separate podcast about the gym in general, the gym intimidation, working out, figuring that out, because I'm 48. So when I grew up, it was all cardio, burn fat, which was just such a disservice and absolutely not true. We all need to be building muscle, building strong bones, We were sold a narrative that isn't true, and we need to shift that, especially over the age of 40. What I hear from people is that they are intimidated at the gym. Listen, people stare at me at the gym. In fact, when I was going to Orange Theory, which I don't anymore, that HIIT type of workout was doing more damage than it was good for me. So when I first joined Orange Theory, I joined an Orange Theory studio next to where I was living, and I really loved that studio. Then when I moved, I had to join a new studio. The new studio was so cliquey. There was a clique of really rude women, and they would group together and give dirty looks, and you could just tell it was mean girls at Orange Theory is what it was. Even though I would say hi or be kind, I would get the dirty looks. They're not going to stop me from going to Orange Theory. This is a public space. So I just continue to go and mind my own business. I show up kind. How people treat me is their karma. How I respond is mine. Eventually, they just stopped showing up. I don't know what happened. And eventually it turned over. And then I started to make connections. Then I decided I don't want to do Orange Theory anymore. Same is true when I joined my gym. When I go to the gym, especially at the time that I go to the gym, it's usually me and a bunch of dudes, honestly. There's hardly any women that lift weights, and there's hardly any women that are there during the time that I go. I've talked to women where they say, oh, sometimes the men try to correct me. First of all, they're probably trying to flirt with you if they do that, because men bond when they're trying to solve a problem. But all you have to do is just be polite and say, oh, no, thank you, or listen to their suggestion and blow it off. I'm not going to allow that to stop me from going to the gym. You got to gain sole control over your thoughts and emotions. The discomfort is just showing you an area where you can grow and move through it and get to the other side. Healing happens in your living room when you don't want to get off the floor and you make yourself get up off the floor. You get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. We don't build character in ease. We build it in the moments that you pause and say, ugh, that wasn't my best. I can do better. But instead of sitting with that, most people drink, they scroll, they numb, they email a bunch of healers in desperation because they can't stand the discomfort that they feel. The soul is trying to help you heal, but you don't give yourself a chance. You're constantly looking for the escape route. You don't build depth by skipping steps. You build it through showing up when no one's watching, through observing your own emotions and choosing to observe them and not let them become you. That's how we grow. I've had so much happen this year. One of the people that I've been working with for years is going through their own journey right now, so they're unable to do any type of one-on-one work. And I know it's for a purpose. I know that I will always have what I need when I need it. And if it's not there, it's because I don't need it. That's how strong my faith is. You keep moving, you practice. We have to stop running from discomfort. Okay, I've said enough. Let's go into a healing. You can uncross your arms and legs and focus on your breathing. I will turn the healing on. Okay, and so it is. I want to thank you so much for being here. And if you've sent me donations, I want to say I always bless those to be returned to you many times, spiritually, materially, and financially. If I miss it, if I don't email you, please know I receive it with so much gratitude. And I absolutely ask the higher beings to send it back to you 100-fold. And I want to thank you so much for being here with me. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.